Oh, we live. We live. Let me just wait for my people to log in. It's Friday. Are people out clubbing? Are people out clubbing? What's happening? Okay, there are people. Maybe they checking out live. Let's get this guy on.
Who's clubbing there? Who's busy clubbing?
People are clubbing, my man.
What type of club is that? Living room?
Huh?
Is that the name of the club?
Sorry, say that again.
Is the name of the club Living Room?
Yeah. Then when it's time to go home, they just go to the bedroom.
Yeah, like they
What's
can
popping, G?
bruh. Just another day in the lockdown, bruh.
Are you busy with edits?
Yeah, there's always edits to go through. There's always some researches to do, like we talked about yesterday. There's always some tutorial to watch. So, yeah, as much as it's difficult, but we must just keep active, keep productive and stuff. That's why we're
I'm
here.
sure you fully booked. I'm sure you fully booked
Hey,
the
bruh.
weekend. Eh?
Bruh, I've got about 17 gigs, bruh, between today and Sunday. 17 gigs. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I mean, if you sleep long enough, you'll make it to all the 17 dream shoots. If you sleep long enough, since that's all we've been doing.
We've got 10 people
But
so far. Hopefully, we can get more people.
have you been productive? Because I can definitely say on my side, because there's no sense of urgency. You know, everything has just been slow. I know I've got things to do, but because I feel like I've got
Yeah.
3 weeks to do them, then I haven't done them, and you know that just kills the whole point of just using this as a break and as a productive break, you know?
I think it just becomes a matter of discipline because, in general, because we kind of freelancers, most of us work from home. Some of us have studios, some of us have offices, but the majority of us just edit from our rooms or our offices at home and stuff. So already we have that mindset of working from home. It's not something new to us. But I think the biggest issue now becomes there's no break. There's no, hey, I'm going to go out to shoot. I'm going to go out for meetings and all that. So mentally, it starts messing up with you where you're like, it's either you are working over and over and over, or you are like you are not working at all. You just get too comfortable. So it's just a battle you start fighting in your head about that.
I've honestly been so lazy over the past couple of days. You know, I actually started kind of like trying to push just a few days ago. Then there was the whole extension. Then I was like, flip. I'll finish all this work, and I know it's a bad thing, but it has really killed the morale. But I
Mm.
hope I can bounce back. So
There's a
yeah, what
question
do you
here.
have for
I
us
think
today, bro?
because we're waiting for more people to come through. There's one question. I don't know if you can see it from Dark Skinny Official.
People are at the club, my man. No one is coming. Yeah, maybe you can answer that one.
Uh, you can do it both ways, but when you set your camera to monochrome inside, the type of sharpness and the dynamic range you get from your black and white in camera is different from the one you do when you're editing, when you convert the image in black and white. So you can still get that result, especially for photography, because I know for video, most of the time when I'm doing work and it has to be black and white, you shoot it in black and white in camera. But for photography, you can always tweak it and get the same result. But if you're gonna keep the image in black and white, then you really don't have to shoot it in color.
Yeah, personally, I'm a bit scared of black and white because, and I actually got scared of it the day I actually saw that there's actually like a professional black and white photographer. I don't know how he does it,
Mm,
but I know he's a professional black and white photographer, so he does not shoot color. And I'm
yeah.
like, what? This guy, you'll have your Tom shooting at your wedding, and
Mm,
then he'll have his session with you as the bride and groom, and it's literally a black and white
black and white.
um, session. And I'm like, what? Wait. So
Mm.
in all the specialties of photography, there's literally someone that says, hey guys, my specialty is just black and white. Um, so ever since then, I got a bit scared of just entering territories that I do not fully understand because
Yeah.
personally, I guess I'm scared of him looking at my work and thinking, wow, so that's all black and white is to you, just clicking a button on Lightroom that converts your image to black and white. So since then, I mean, for your clubs, yes, but like for photo shoots, I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like I would still probably need to learn a bit more about it before I maybe
Mm.
even start going as far as changing your images to black and white because I don't think I'm that well informed. And I
I
mean,
think for
Lightroom
me,
gives you that option. Yeah,
mm.
Sakura.
No, 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 you can finish.
No, I mean, yes, Lightroom gives you that option, but what else do you need to tweak? And I mean, I can probably get a decent enough black and white photo, but I think till the day I actually go in depth in terms of
Mm.
learning how or why this guy chose to be a black and white photographer, then
Yeah.
I'm not really gonna play around it much.
I think for me, I love color way, way too much to be shooting in black and white. Like the
Yeah,
beauty
and I
in
mean,
my
especially
eyes.
for
Yeah.
for me, especially for professional photo shoots, because
Mm.
um, for professional photo shoots, I don't think I'll do black and white because why? Unless maybe if someone said, hey, they liked a certain look and they referenced the black and white or whatever, maybe then I can jump on it.
Yeah.
Um, but for events, of course, say maybe someone's makeup is not right, or maybe the
Mm.
color coordination of clothes, or maybe there's just something wrong with the colors, then I can just go that quick way of just pressing that black and white thingy, black and white button on Lightroom and just converting it into black and white. But uh, one day I think I'll probably just sit down and learn so much about it that I'll then do it because I've got better understanding with it.
Yeah. All right. I think everyone is here, so we can go through the questions we're going to be tackling. I think you can go through
I mean, people are at clubs. Not everyone is here. People are at clubs. People are at clubs.
it.
So yeah, I think today the one thing that got me wondering is what are the stereotypes, dude? Like, what are the stereotypes that affect us as photographers? Not even affect, but like that we go through on a daily basis or on whatever basis. Like, what are the stereotypes that you have faced that have kind of like made your blood boil a bit?
I think there are a couple of things. Because as much as we want to specialize in only one field, most of the time we end up tackling different fields and stuff. We kind of get experience from here and there. I think for me, when it comes to wedding photography, and I think Anza is here. Anza is a good friend of mine who focuses on wedding photography as well. I think the biggest stereotype is clients not doing the researches about the type of wedding photographers they are booking. So they would book you, but they would be giving you references of other people's work on some, I want my shoot to be like this. And I think it's important for a client, let it be for wedding, let it be for any type of corporate portraiture. If you are going to book a photographer, don't book the photographer because it's the cheapest. Don't book the photographer because it's just another photographer. Book the photographer because there's been some kind of research that's been done about the photographer. You understand his work, you understand his style, and you can relate to his style. That's when you go ahead and you book him because you want your images to look like that. Don't book me and then expect me to be shooting like Tom or Tom expecting to be shooting like me, even though we kind of have similar styles and stuff. But that's the first thing. Like, study your photographer before booking him. Like, understand exactly what you are going to get as a final product, and then don't just come to me expecting me to do work that other people are doing. If you want to do that type of work, go and book them, not me. So that's the first thing.
Yeah,
And the second thing,
and
yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Let me just jump in on that as well. Um, for me, it makes sense, and I mean, especially let's take for a big day like for a wedding.
Mm,
It's actually so important to connect
yeah.
with for the clients to actually connect with the photographer or the videographer because without that connection, dude, it's gonna be a mess because
It's chaotic.
you know you're just gonna be like a cameraman to them, and you're just gonna need to perform magic. Where else, in actual fact, for me, the magic comes with the connection, and
Yeah.
um, with that, if there's a certain level of respect that they've got for you, then they'll
Hmm.
trust you when you suggest certain things. They'll trust you enough when you tell them what to do and what not to do. And
Hmm.
I'll give you an example of how I really handle weddings. I'll probably meet up with the people first,
Yeah.
and I will usually connect a bit more with the bride because they are a bit chilled on the wedding day, unlike the grooms. I don't know why, because I
Mm.
actually thought it would be the other way around. So to a point where, I would then ask them to always kind of like make eye contact with me so that I can always low key just direct them what to do. Maybe, you know, I can always just low key without anyone else seeing it. I can always say, yo, hold hands. Or like maybe if they're doing their first dance, I can always kind of like hint that, yo, put your head on his shoulder or
Mm.
whatever. So that connection is quite important for them to know you and to respect you. Because
Mm.
then when they respect you, then when you guide them throughout the day, they'll listen. But if they don't respect you and they don't listen to you, my man,
Yeah.
you're gonna say, "Hey, let's pose," or "Hey, I need 10 more minutes for the shoot," and it's gonna be like, "No, no, no, it's over."
Yeah.
Hey,
Mm.
what? And then at the end of the day, they're still gonna expect miracles. But hey, because of the lack of respect, then you can't do your job to your best
Yeah.
ability. So yeah,
I guess that's when it becomes important to have some kind of consultation with your the bride and the groom before the wedding day, just to get to know each other. So on the day, they're not like, hey, who's this stranger and stuff.
yeah, who's this and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. So I think that's the
yeah.
first
And
thing.
sorry, you can continue. Yeah,
Yeah. And the second thing is the value of photography. I think it's
yeah.
important to understand that photography is a commodity. It's a piece of it's a service rendered, but then that service can start generating money without you understanding it. So it becomes very important to understand why a client wants an images and what exactly are they intending to use it for. Because most of the clients will come to you and then tell you it's just an image that I want to use to post on social media. But that person might be a DJ, for example, and that image might end up being used for 10 years. This has happened to me before. Or they might come to you and ask you to shoot an image that they will use for promotion, for example. And that image can turn out to be the album cover or the number one selling new hip hop artist and stuff. And because you did not understand properly the usage of the images, it becomes very tricky for you to recover money or even to make money out of it. So I think the biggest misconception is that photographers just take pictures and then that's it, and then I can do whatever the heck I want to do with the images. It's not just a picture. There is a lot that goes behind it. I think there's a story where Leonardo da Vinci was paid at the time a lot of money to paint a portrait of a rich person, and it took 20 minutes to paint that portrait, and he told the guy that it was finished. So the guy's reaction was, "Oh, so I've paid you so much money in order for you to just do a painting in 20 minutes?" And Da Vinci's reply to him was like, "What took me 20 minutes to do is actually 10 years of work." So just because I can rock up to a place and then take the perfect picture in 20 minutes or whatever, and then we've wrapped it up, doesn't mean that uh, those 10 minutes just came for granted. Like it took an actual time, a learning, an experience. So when you pay for that, it's not just a picture. I don't know if you can add to that.
Yeah, I think when it comes to that, thing is, I guess maybe we professional photographers know so much, um, and the information needs to be passed down to all the other photographers as well. Because if they then have that understanding, it's easier for them to also know their value as photographers, right?
Yeah.
And with that, we can also then get to a point where we can educate the client because, half the times it's because the clients are not really
They
educated,
don't
you
understand it.
know?
Yeah.
Um, half the times, I remember I had an incident, I think I told you about it, when I took an image of someone at the Durban July, and it was just like a normal. I got paid like the normal rate, normal hourly rate, because that was what the image was meant for. And you know what? 2 years later, they come, they say, "Hey, my man, please send us those pictures again, high res. Want to use one of the pictures?" And I'm thinking, no, maybe they're just doing their reports or whatever. You know how brands
Mm.
sometimes just take their time to wrap up whatever they needed to wrap up or whatever. Or I just thought they were just putting together something, only to find out that it was for a campaign that they were doing. And at the time, I actually had just gotten introduced to the fact that, oh, actually you can
Mm.
get paid usage fees, and that depends on your hourly rate times a
Yeah.
certain number times the
Mm.
duration that the images are going to be used for. So I guess there's still a lot of information that needs to be passed down, and
Yeah.
part of which, it also sometimes make me lazy to go through the technicalities of it, to a point where someone says, "Hey, yo, I want to shoot an album cover," and I'm like, "Okay, cool, sharp. I'll give them my normal
Mm.
rate, and not even have to go through the whole usage fees, usage rights, and whatever not." Um,
Yeah.
there's a lot of education that really needs to go down. I just thought of something now. Let it not escape my mind. Um, but yeah, I think I'll remember it. But yeah, there's a lot of information that needs to be learned and be passed down
Yeah.
to all the other photographers so that it can then be some sort of a standard. But I think, yeah, might take a while. But if
Yeah.
everyone is well informed, then we can move on the same rail, because as
Yeah.
is now, if you coming in with your usage rights and someone else is willing to do it for free, then hey,
Yeah. It kills the
we
industry. Yeah.
won't go anywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I
I think
think most
eventually. Yeah.
importantly, um, I think our biggest homework, or rather our biggest task right now, is to learn and educate our clients, because I mean, half the times I don't think they really understand what really goes down into these things. Half the times the client does not know that it takes 2 hours to retouch a single image.
Yeah.
And also, I guess also we also then also need to educate them in terms of copyrights. Who owns the
Yeah.
images? How does it get to a point where they actually own the full rights to the images?
Mm.
Because I guess we also just in a phase where someone feels like, hey, yo, I paid you $1,000. Um,
Mm.
the images are mine, but hey,
Yeah.
in
There's
actual
more that goes
fact,
behind that. Yeah.
there's more to that than that. So I guess there's a lot of education that needs to go into it, because I think you go to shoots sometimes, and you'll find the client criticizing another photographer, and instead of you just keeping quiet, educate the client that, oh, in
Yeah.
actual fact, I could possibly
Mm.
understand where he's coming from, because in actual fact, here's one, two, three that actually really is supposed to be happening, but maybe not all photographers are doing it. So he's right. So I think it's within us to actually educate ourselves and then educate the clients. Then that way um, there'll be some sort of progress. And another thing is, the more we learn and the more united we are, the better um, clients will also treat us, you know?
Yeah.
Because if clients are bashing someone else and you just keeping quiet, or you just supporting it, then we'll never be united. And because
Yeah.
of that, then we'll never get respected. We'll never get the respect that we want. We'll always just remain a stereotype of just being a photographer, a cameraman. Let me put it like
Yeah. A
that.
cameraman. Same time
Yeah,
picture.
Yeah, so I guess the more we educate our clients about what really goes down into taking pictures and even the post processing, then I guess then they'll be well informed enough to actually start respecting our craft even more.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know if there's something else you want to add regarding the stereotype of photographers.
We were talking about the value of photography, so yeah, I guess
Mm.
we are done with that. Let me just scan. Hey, now people
I'm
are
seeing a
asking
question
questions we answered.
that we answered yesterday. Yeah, we
Yeah,
were
so
supposed to
I
be
don't
here
know.
yesterday.
It's too hard. We here every midnight, so I didn't sorry. Recently bought one question we answered yesterday.
Actually,
Confirming
both
what you just
questions.
said. Um, Tom, what made you change from Nikon to Sony? We answered that yesterday. So yeah, continuing with the stereotypes. I think when I started and I told my family that hey, I want to do this whole photography thing, they were like, we don't understand, but just go for it, we don't understand, and it only made sense now, and it sucks that um, people then only jump on it later. And I'm not talking about my family now.
Mm.
It sucks that people only then also respect you based on how much you've done or who you've shot for or whatever. And I believe that there's a whole lot of talent out there that I think there's a lot of photographers that are below that are actually way better than me but haven't gotten the recognition, and because they get to an event and they're not taken serious because they're not
Yeah,
your
they're
household
not big
names,
names. Yeah, and
it's
I think
it's it's a
that's a
it's a problem.
huge issue that I feel like we have in the industry at the moment is that too many people are uh, getting booked not because of the value of what they do, but more because of the fact that they will bring a number or they are Mang Mang, they are Stills by Tom or who else and stuff.
Wow,
And I
Magic
think
Mike.
like, and I feel like in the longer term, it starts killing in the industry because it's becoming like, in order to start getting some gigs, especially in events, that's where I feel like events and then a couple of photo shoots, people want to shoot with you because you are a big household name more than you being good at what you do, or they starting to question your price because you are not big enough. Like people will go and then check how many followers you first have on your social media before booking you, before even checking the quality of your images. I think for me, I've been lucky because I literally I'm in between corporate and your individual stuff, so I don't really have to deal with that luckily. But I feel like there's a lot of guys that I feel like are really, really good, but they don't get that exposure because the pool of photographers is starting to change from quality to just big numbers and stuff, popularity, if we can put it that way.
Yeah, I guess.
Not that I'm saying you're good though, because I thought you were. So you are pretty good at what you do. So you don't apply there.
Say that again. Sorry, you were breaking up just a bit there.
I'm saying you don't fall into that pool because you are pretty good. I thought you were.
Of course you did. Of course you did. And today, look at me. I'm teaching you now. I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you. So I guess another thing that actually came into my mind earlier was, as a professional photographer and dealing with and it being something that you do on a daily. I mean, I shoot every day. Well, besides now because of the whole lockdown. Hey, Lozi. Uh, you know, and this actually also happened to me, I think, just before the lockdown, where, I think I'm a professional photographer and I know so much, and well, not so much, but like I think
Yeah.
I'm well informed. We were shooting a client, and I was stuck between her not knowing what she wants, but also discrediting before she could even see what I was doing or whatever, you know. So I think
Yeah.
the question I'm trying to ask is, how do you then break the line between you sticking to what you know that you need to do at a photo
Yeah.
shoot and now having to listen to a client say, no, I want the picture this way. And you know that,
Yeah.
no, but the lighting does not, like, yes, it's fine, it will come out okay, but I know it can even be way greater if you go that way. So how do you then break the line, or how do you then deal with that? Because now
Yeah.
you know you're a professional and you deal with this on a daily basis, and this is someone that's probably
Mm.
shooting once a year. Um,
Yeah.
and you know you want to get the best out of it, but yeah, I guess you get the I hope you get
Yeah. Yeah.
the what
I
I'm trying to
think
ask.
I think for me, it still goes back to what I said earlier. Clients not researching your work before booking you. Clients coming with expectations from other photographers and expecting you to do the same. So for me, the way I've managed to deal with that is that I'll give you two options. I'll take the picture the way you want it to be taken, then I'll take the picture the way I think it needs to be taken. Then together we can decide which one works best. Sometimes you have stubborn people that literally just want to be right and will just go with, yes, I want the one I wanted. But most of the time, if it actually makes sense, the clients will be like, oh, you were right. You see, can I have both pictures, for example? So sometimes you just avoid having confrontations with clients with those back and forth because it kills the mood of the shoot. Like the minute mentally you start feeling like you are being attacked or you're not being taken seriously by the clients, it starts affecting the way you take your images because artists, which are photographers, are very passionate about what we do. We take criticism about our photography, about our craft in a very delicate way, and we're very sensitive. Like our ego gets bruised extremely easily, and when it does, it starts getting felt in the images we take. So I think that's also something we start developing where you need to have a strong personality because you're always going to find clients that are difficult, that don't know what they want, that are going through their own issues, and then they want to dump it on you and stuff. And that happens a lot, especially with events.
Yeah, hey, talking about those clients, I think I've had my fair share of yeah, of people that did not understand. Like, I think someone just told someone that, hey, or someone just
Book
woke
this
up
person.
saying, hey, I want to have a photo shoot, and someone else like, hey, I know Tom, and then Tom just comes and, you know,
Yeah,
yeah, she still wants to be in control of the shoot, but you thought you are the creative there that has better understanding of how you can maximize the shoot. And I think it then goes to how people perceive photography, because for me, photography is an essential. Well, maybe not
yeah.
an essential thingy to go operate now, but I think it's just as important as a whole lot of other things, you know, a whole lot of other
Yeah,
careers, you know. Um, and I hope one day it will get taken that serious. But I think also it will also just depend on how photographers conduct themselves in
yeah,
terms of professionalism, as I said yesterday,
yeah,
for it to eventually grow. And I think this goes for all the other creatives that we work with, you know, makeup artists, stylists, and whatever not. So I think we need to really work hard in terms of changing how people perceive photography, because I mean, to a whole lot of other people, we're still cameramen. You
cameraman.
know, I don't know why I like using that word, but to a whole lot of people, we're still cameramen, and
Yeah,
you
and they're
know, the
doing us
level
a
of
favor. Like Anzo said it earlier. He said that it's like clients things are doing us a favor for booking us. It's like, hey, I'm supporting you. Hey, I'm this. It's like that whole support thing starts being taken in a very negative way. Like, hey, I'm doing you a favor by booking you.
yeah, like a lot of people haven't taken it that serious. And I guess maybe it's also because we are so emotionally attached to it. Personally, I am so emotionally attached to it that, I mean, if you were to insult it, I would probably also insult you, you know? Um, and, but also still at the same time, I think, but I'll get onto that, to the whole criticism thing. But yeah, I think the minute we can even convince, you know, those uncles there at the weddings,
Yeah.
The day we can even convince those ones that no, we've got this under control. Please let us do what we need to do. I mean, look at what happens at weddings when everything else is delayed. The pasta is late. Do you still do events, Tom? Yeah, I still do events. I love events. I love events and I love studio. Other than that, yeah. Before I lose my chain of thoughts again. At weddings, for example, everything else will run late. Like the pasta can run
Yeah.
late, the bride can run late. Well, obviously the bride is allowed to run late.
Yeah.
The groom, everything else can run late. The matrimonial can run late. The cutting of everything can run late. But as soon as it's time to take pictures, then literally,
Yeah.
dude, as we setting up your light, hey, cameraman, what? But they didn't tell the pastor that when he was preaching for
Yeah.
3 hours. They're not gonna. The same uncle is also gonna take 3 hours later with the speech. So
Yeah.
you then start feeling like the only people that really pay the price is the photographer,
It's a
because I'm so
photographer.
attached to it. I'm so attached to it that the same way that the uncle takes his time to do his speech about how he raised the daughter and dude, literally you're given 3 minutes to take the money picture while you
Yeah.
actually even need 30 minutes to set up your lights there. And literally now you need to go through the family like that. So at the end of the day, you look at the pictures and you're thinking, oh, flip, I can't believe I am attaching my name to these pictures. So I don't know if it's because I'm personally so attached to the pictures that I take,
Yeah.
or maybe they just don't take it serious. But yeah, no, there's a balance that needs to be struck. So the day we
There's
can
a
convince those, yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying there's a huge, huge disconnect when it comes to wedding. So you want to tell me that you have invested 250,000 rand, sometimes half a million rand, sometimes even 1 bar to a wedding. And the only thing you want to compromise on, you want to go and get the cheapest photographer. Meanwhile, pictures and videos are going to be the only thing that's going to be left at the end of the day when that day is finished. It just doesn't make sense at all. You can't be doing that. You can't be investing so much money in your catering, in your events and stuff, and then want to
But
compromise
what
and go
must you
for the
cut now?
cheapest.
Must you cut out the beetroot? Must you cut out the beetroot? Now people are gonna eat 6 colors now. It's a bit
Nah,
of a tricky one, budget wise, because even the photographer that you're getting, there's always one that's better than them. I mean, we've got Abu Sempiri on the live, and he kills it. Like he does the most. So when does one strike the balance? Because now remember you're working on a budget, and you can't give people KFC because now you want to go hire that international photographer from the States or whatever not. So, and then also remember, there's just a certain level of images that are good enough for certain people. We know
true.
better. We know better. We know what let me not mention cameras, but we know we know the difference. But
Yeah.
do clients know the difference? Do they, like, some people just want good enough? You get a client that will ask for a quotation from you, and then maybe fight and go shoot with someone else, and then because you know better and you know that you could have done like crazy better,
Yeah.
you see the client posting a picture and you're like, really? But in
Yeah.
as far as the client is concerned, that picture was good enough, and in as far as the crowd is concerned, the picture is good enough to make it on Instagram. So our clients also that educated,
Yeah. But
because some
I guess
people
I
just
guess it's
want
our
good
job.
enough pictures.
Yeah.
Say
I
that
guess
again.
it's our job. It's our job to start just showing them like, hey, there's actually better. There's this, there's that and stuff. If they actually
Yeah,
even
but
want to
also
listen.
remember, when you show them, you must also show them the better photographer that's better than you. You must also show them so that they also have that option. Because remember, the same thing we are saying, that they went and chose a cheaper photographer than you. There's a better photographer that then when you get the job looks at you and says, how did they have to choose him when there was me? So remember, there's the 10K guy, then there's the 20K guy, then there's 30K guy. But whoever gets the job, the guy that's above him is still going to ask the same question: that did these guys really have to compromise spending 250 and then compromise on pictures? So where do we then strike the balance? And that's not a question, because I think for me it's one of those things where it's like, hey, am I good enough for you? Yeah, cool. Then let's rock.
Someone is asking, so you guys shoot weddings also? What do you want to answer to that? Do you also
We
shoot
shoot
weddings?
weddings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love weddings. Hey, but the stress of editing weddings is too much.
And it never starts on time. That's the messed up part. I've
But I mean,
never
for
ever
me,
attended a wedding that starts on time.
it works for me because I start billing from the time I get to the wedding. So
Yeah.
it actually works for me because I could be chilling in my car and I'm getting paid, because if it lasts longer than what they've booked me for, then I continue billing, and I'll
Yeah.
always keep asking every hour, hey, do you want to add another hour? Do you want to add another hour? So for me, it works for me. So I don't complain when weddings start late. As long as I ask them a couple of times, what time is the wedding starting? Then they say 12, then they start at 5.
Yeah.
And then it ends the following day. It works for me because then I've made more money, and I could rest before the wedding, or I could just edit something else. Yeah, we shoot weddings, but
Yeah.
the editing of weddings is too much. And I
It's a
think the one
problem.
thing that really gets to me with such events, and it's not even just weddings, is when someone literally asks you for like 2 pictures. I'm not that person. I'm
Yeah.
not, because for me to go through all those pictures just to find 2 pictures, for me is just as good as me going through the pictures and actually somehow starting to edit and whatever not. But I think we'll discuss workflow on one of these good days as well. How I handle my workflow, because these big events, your gala dinners, your 40th, where you literally go home with like 3,000 pictures, how to handle that. Yeah, I think we'll deal with it one of these good days. But yeah, weddings are nice. The money's nice, just not the editing.
Stressful. What's the next question?
You check. I don't know how to read. Flip, I don't know where we were. I don't really understand photographers. I also think clients don't understand. And I don't even think we're gonna be online for that long. I slept so late yesterday.
I didn't sleep.
Yeah, I also slept quite late. I'm still waiting for my pictures. It's been 3 years. Hey, my man, you must send Frank the pictures.
Frank must
See,
go
now your
sleep,
files are
bruh.
coming out. Yeah?
Frank must go sleep. He doesn't know what he's talking about there.
You must send Frank his pictures. And and this has nothing to do with Frank, but those situations where you're shooting an event, and
Yeah.
then because someone has your number there, and they're the
And
first people to text you or call you in the morning
at
at 7 o'clock.
7 a.m. Yeah. They're like,
Saying,
hey,
hey, my
can I
man,
please
please
have
send
that
me one
picture?
picture. And you're thinking, dude, the client doesn't even have the pictures. Relax. So it's crazy, because you'll think someone is taking your number because they're trying to book you someday, until they're literally the first people to wanna call you and ask for pictures, and it's like, no, but let the
Which brings
client
me to
get.
something, yeah, which brings me to something very important. It's important for photographers to know that the person you need to be sending the pictures is the person that booked you. Do not send pictures to whichever person comes to you and be like, hey, can I please have the picture you took of me at the wedding and stuff. It looks very disrespectful to the client and very unprofessional when you are the one that has to start sending pictures to each and every individual when you haven't even sent all the pictures to the client first. Remember, you are commissioned to do the job by the client, not by the guests. So the guest can start getting images from the client, not from you. Like it's not your place.
Yeah, I think for me, no matter how much I know you, in a situation like that, I'll always direct you to the client. I'll say, hey, please ask the client. And not that they need to ask the client if I can send them the pictures, but hey, please ask the client, because, the client actually deserves first preference.
Yeah.
Imagine people are posting pictures from your wedding or from whatever, that you only actually were planning to post the next week or whatever, or you haven't even had time to look at. So yes, this goes out to all the photographers that you must always give the paying person first
Yeah.
preference. Even if that person was booking you for the first time and you bump into someone that has booked you 10 times, it's always just fair to give clients first preference, and then give the clients I don't know what the word is, but let the clients be the ones to distribute the pictures.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Because
only
they
fair.
paid you. They are the one that paid you.
They own the pic. Well, yeah, they own that. They own the pictures. Well, not fully, but yeah, they own the pictures.
Yeah.
Let me answer this one quickly. Tiger Walk. I'm with Sony A73. Um, I think let's give it 10 more minutes and then we'll be out for today.
There's another question that's
Maybe
quite
we can
interesting
go
there.
say that again.
I don't know if you can see it. There's two questions. There's a question from Natalie that says, as photographers, what's your plan during the pandemic? Has your business model changed, or are you using this time as a break? I think we're gonna have an entire subject, an entire live only about that. I don't think we want to go through that now, because also as time is going, I think you can disagree with me, we're also just discovering how to handle it and stuff. So I think when we both feel ready about it, we can have a full live where we're only discussing that. What do you think?
Yeah, we can discuss it in like a day or two.
Yeah.
Today, I think it was just important. Well, not that it was important, but I think
Yeah.
we're trying to also use this platform to learn one thing at a time. And, so all the questions need to kind of like correlate with whatever we're discussing for the day. I guess then we'll start pinning, as from tomorrow, I'll start pinning
Yeah, topics.
whatever question that we're talking about. But today, we're literally just talking about stereotypes that we face as photographers.
And there's another question also. What's what's the importance of being in a niche in photography?
Do you want to handle that first? I'll answer.
Okay. I think all around the world, in first world countries, it's easier for a photographer to specialize. I think that's the most common word, specialize. You have those that only focus on portrait. You have those that only focuses on studio. You have those that only focus on products and whatever, because the market is big enough for them to handle it. But unfortunately, at the moment, the way the industry stands in South Africa, it's not really that easy to specialize in only one thing. For example, I am a professional corporate and commercial cinematographer, and then I'm a photographer. So most of the work I do mainly it's actually videos for stuff that goes on TV, stuff that goes on the internet, stuff that gets consumed on social media and stuff. And then I take photography as well. But now, because the market is not that big to sustain my lifestyle, to sustain my needs, I have to start adapting to other markets, which is events, which is wedding, which is portrait and stuff. But then the more you start doing something, the reason why people specialize is because they start getting more experience from doing that same thing over and over and over. That's when you start getting to another level that someone will not be able to handle. For example, the way I would shoot my photography most of the time for weddings would be with flashes, because that's where I'm comfortable with, that's what I enjoy. But you have people, for example, like Anza, who can still manage and still produce amazing images with just natural light. So it becomes that thing whereby the more you do something, the more you start becoming so good at it that you can specialize in it. But currently speaking, it's very difficult to just be specializing in one thing in the current South African market.
Yeah, I think for me, in regard, we all started as versatile photographers. Um, so, flip, I saw flash. We're still on.
Yeah, we're still on.
Yes, yes, east. Are you still on?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm probably the one that's frozen.
Yeah, I think we're back now.
Yeah, we're still on. Say that again.
We're back. We are back.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I see. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, cool. So I think with me, it's fine to start as a versatile photographer, but as you grow, just start taking out those things that do not make financial sense or you don't even enjoy. But I think eventually it's very good to learn and try specialize in as much as you say it's difficult and stuff, but I think the more you know, uh, the more you can get trusted in that. So
Yeah.
say, for example, if I'm doing studio so much and I'm learning so much about it, then I start becoming the to-go-to guy for that. So I I think there is a gap that each one of us can try fill without having to also try compete and whatever not.
Yeah.
But I think the more you learn about something, especially maybe just choose something that you actually enjoy the most, the more you learn about it and the more you are well educated about it, I think you can then somehow start creating a market for it because then people can see that, oh no, when it comes to studio, Tom is the
Yeah.
guy to go to. When it comes to
Mm.
wedding videography,
Mm.
Jan is the uh, person to go to because I know definitely I do not do wedding videography. I don't want to
Yeah.
do it. I don't see myself ever doing it. I I don't know how broke I'd have to be for me to actually want to go do because I've seen you go crazy. Well, not go crazy. I think you're
Yeah.
used to it. But like I've just
Yeah.
seen, the whole technicalities that go into it. Having multiple cameras,
Yeah.
having a lot of memory, always the camera always having to record. Having
Mm.
enough batteries, and in the while you are shooting, now you have to go charge another battery
Sound.
because this one
Yeah.
sound. So uh, for me, I think over the years, I've just been cutting out a couple of things that
Yeah.
I feel like I know this thing does not make business sense for me. This thing is actually messing with my time because, I mean, say for example, red carpet events. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I don't like them anymore. I don't want to do them personally. There's
Mm.
probably one, two, three people that I probably still do it with. I don't know if it's because we're friends or if we've built that relationship. But I know also they wouldn't prefer anyone else. But I mean, on a daily basis, if someone comes and says, "Yo, dude, there's a channel or awards, let's go." Personally, I'm not a fan of those. So slowly but surely, I've started getting rid of things that I'm not. Um, that do not excite me because also even just the way it's perceived because I mean um, you are a personal photographer and you put under so much pressure to produce images at the same time
Yeah.
and very high quality images, but I mean is the money even worth it? Because now you're gonna charge, I can't mention amounts, but you're gonna charge 100 rand,
Yeah.
which is the same 100 rand that you charge for all the other events, but you've got so much pressure of having to edit that picture there. You end up being there for 3 hours but still getting 100 rand. So
Yeah.
for me, in terms of the personal photography, and as much as that's where I started, for me the money is not matching the requirements.
Mm.
It's fewer pictures, yes, but the pressure of having to produce those pictures, quality images that are there on the spot does not work for me. But I think
Yeah.
eventually, long story short, is if you keep working on whatever it is that you're working on and learning so much about it, then you stand a better chance of being known for that, and you'll always be there to go to guy, if that even makes
Mm.
sense, Flip.
Yeah. I guess I get you. There's one question that I quickly want to answer. What's the best lens that's wide and good for zooming? We discussed it yesterday, but I would say if you're on a budget, go for your kit lens, which is your 18 to 55. If you still have some money to go, then go for the 24 to 70, the f2.8. You can either use your Canon, your Nikon, or you can go for the Tamron one. Rather go for the Tamron
Really?
G2.
How's the
If
Sigma?
No, not the 24 to 70. I don't trust the 24 to 70 Sigma. If you still have money, then you go for the 70 to 200, which can either be your Canon, your Nikon, or your Tamron. That one I also don't trust it for Sigma. Sigma's lenses are amazing when it's your 35, your 85, your prime lenses basically. But we're gonna
Yeah.
discuss it later. Like that's another topic.
All
Someone
right, cool.
asked
And
how often are we going to be doing these videos? What are we replying to
I
that?
think the plan is to do them every midnight, but today
Yeah,
was a bit of a struggle
yeah.
because I was busy throughout the day trying to catch up with work, research, and stuff. So, today was a
Mm,
bit of a stretch. But we're gonna
yeah.
try to do it every night. We're gonna actually, I'll commit. We're gonna do it every midnight for
And
the meeting.
you can either DM Tom's questions or you can DM me questions, and then we're just gonna start going through that and then see how it fits with the day and what we can include. Some will
Yeah, and
be longer,
especially
some light. Yeah.
questions that we've answered before. If we
Mm.
say that we've answered that, maybe you can also actually you can go to yesterday's live.
Yeah,
Still
it's
there on
still
my
on.
profile. So you can actually go check what we spoke about yesterday. This one is also going to be up. I saw someone asking about cash flow. We're still going to get to that. I see someone talking about texture. We'll still get to that. Under, what do you call it? Under workflow. I've noted it
Editing is gonna be
down.
under workflow.
Yeah, and I see someone asked a question saying, yeah, and then someone said, check on YouTube. Yeah, good one. Still by Tom, salute. I love your work. Do you still do events? Yes, Mbali, I do events. I love the events, man. It's too much. It's too nice. Um, wait. Oh, no. Do I still do events? As in, do I still host my events? I know.
Oh,
No, just my birthday parties in September. If that's the question, just my birthday parties in September. It's going down. Hey, this year, if this whole thing is blown over, I'm gonna take all of you guys overseas to go club with me, to go party with me. Um, that's so irritating. I don't even know what they were talking about there because I hate the way clients do not really prioritize photographers in weddings. And I mean, weddings are quite hectic, understandably so. Weddings are really hectic for the client, for the wedding people as well. Everyone is just looking at you. People are looking for accommodation from you. People are looking for directions from you. You have to deal with the makeup artist. You have to deal with the catering. You have to deal with just a whole bunch of things. Your family stressing you because they want first preference. So, understandably so, it gets hectic, and I have to be fair on that one. But hey, we can always do better by preparing better.
there-
So with
there's a
that, I
question.
always try.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Just wrap that. Yeah.
With weddings, I always try to get as much information before the wedding as possible. I always try to rather have them give me someone else to work with. That will be a medium of channel because I don't want to really be stressing the bride. Hey, so what's happening next? Da, da, da. So there'll always be a medium of communication. So that actually cuts it down. I think we've got 3 more minutes. Yeah, ask the question.
Yeah, I was saying, there's someone that asked about do you get contracts on the job? I think that's also something we're going to be just going properly into it when it comes to invoicing and contracts. So that's going to be a topic on its own as well.
Yeah,
At
let
least
me
that
also
way,
write it down.
yeah, we have a list of topics we can go through and then just keep going with this. But please, guys, like whichever question you have, either send it to Tom or send it to me so we can start putting them together and creating topics out of it. Because the whole point of this is sharing our experience, but also just feeding also from what you guys want us to talk about.
Yeah, I want to screenshot the Natalie question because it's very important, and yeah,
Yeah.
we'll eventually handle it. What's the importance of being a niche photographer? We've answered that. How do you keep clients long term? I think I'll answer that tomorrow. Um, what's the best lens? Stills by Tom. Much respect. Thanks, Jacob. Sigma for sharpness. Okay. Shout out to all the knowledge. Show Mac. Um, How about a topic every night? That's what we've been doing. We had
Yeah.
topics yesterday. You can check them out on the live yesterday, and even today we've tried so hard to be consistent on the stereotypes? Do you get contracts? What's the importance of registering photography brand? We'll talk about that tomorrow. But yeah, most of these questions, DM them, then we can also just schedule them, and be able to talk about one thing at a time, and then
And
that way we'll be able to.
I think also once the lockdown is finished, we can even take it a notch further where we can have some kind of photo shoot of the two of us where we literally just have a model and then we live going through questions that people might be asking about the model. I think that could also be something that works.
No, definitely. I think next week I'll also just get a bunch of other creatives as well on the live.
Yeah.
Your makeup artist, your stylist, just to get the whole just to put the whole idea together, and just also so that they can also just raise their concerns, when it comes to photographers and whatnot, so that we can, build onto this. Where do you guys buy gear? We spoke about it yesterday. You can still check it on my Instagram. It's still there. So yeah, I think from me, good night. We'll chat some more tomorrow. I'll make sure that tomorrow we can go a bit longer
Longer.
and in depth
Yeah.
regarding everything.
Thank you so much, guys. See you guys tomorrow. Sanitize. Wash your hands for 20 seconds. 1 meter distance. Wear your mask. Stay home,
Yeah,
guys.
plus this is as far as
Please.
people are gonna get to alcohol in the next 3
Yeah.
weeks.
We don't want you to die because we're still trying to have you book us and all that. Please take care of yourself. And like I always tell this guy, like in the morning, have a cup of tea, mix it with ginger, mix it with lemon, mix it with honey, and put garlic in it so you can save life. Do that.
Okay, cool, guys. And don't forget to DM those questions so that we can then schedule it and make sure that you're fully answered. And if we didn't answer you and you want me to go into depth, maybe, yeah, we can still talk about DM as well. Because I don't want to use the platform to have people hear things we already spoke about and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, it's gonna bore
cheers,
people.
guys.